Hello, Gauti Krishna, you have come? Hello, Gauti Krishna, I am audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Good.
good afternoon to
Good
all
evening,
of
sir.
you. Should I start it?
Yes, sir. Please.
How many have come? Only two. Devraj and yourself.
They will come, sir.
They will come. I know.
Yes.
Indian time, everybody is late.
Interest, sir. Then on also the proper.
Okay, Gauti Krishna and Devraj is there, na? Devraj from which
I will
place?
on karo.
Yes, sir.
You are from which place?
Na,
You are from Odisha or outside?
JNV, sir, JNV Jabalpur.
Jabalpur.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
good. Very good. So, you do one thing. So, yesterday you were there? Oh, they're coming. Uma has come and it will be increasing. So, let us start it. You know, there are 4 days, but the chapters are so big, difficult to cover in all the 4 classes. So, today I will complete this particular block 1, and the other 2 are pending, will be taught on 29th and 30th. I think I have to brief the classes because it will be difficult to complete it. So now, okay, all right. Considerably, 5, 6 questions have come. We'll start it. So today, I will tell you about psychosocial development during adolescence. Yesterday, I was telling about development which is physical and cognitive, and that which is very important also for the uh, adolescents in the schools. We should develop physically and cognitive ways. And today is there another aspect that is psychosocial development. So socially they have to be developed. So now the question is, what is psychosocial development? So psychosocial development, it denotes personal and social changes that occurs due to cultural and environmental factors. So in this psychosocial development, they have to um, include or they have to acquire personal as well as social changes which are caused due to cultural factors or due to environmental factors. So culture and environment both are now helping us to develop psychosocially. So these changes, that is personal or social, they are more specific in nature. So psychosocial development during adolescence contains a realistic sense of identity. So now here, this particular stage of development is developing your self-identity. So here, this sense of identity is in the context of interaction with the parents, with the teachers, with the peers and people. The adolescent is mixing at different level. He is in the family, so he is following the parents, So he is with the peers, he's also following them, with the teachers, following teachers, interacting also. So in the process of interaction, he develops his own identity. So this particular period is a time of stressful process, or you can say this is a time of stressful adjustment with the peers and also other members because they are having expectations. So here he is now having the expectations of the family members, expectation of the teachers, also expectation of the peers. So now he is going to deal with the expectations of others. So therefore, this period is a stressful adjustment because he has to develop, he has to adjust such a way, he has to adjust to the needs, to the expectations of others. So adolescents learn how to manage their emotions and how to cope up to the stress. So now the stress comes here because of the expectations, because he has to match the expectations of others. And this process creates stress. And this particular period is a very critical period because you have to manage emotions and cope with this stress. So adolescence is a turbulent period, as you know, and here we experience different emotional difficulties, and at the same time we have another uh, uh, feeling or another need to attain independence. So attaining independence and identity. So here we are interacting with so many persons at so many levels, and we are accepting their views, they are accepting our views, or we are interacting, we are following them. So at that stage, we develop our own identity. So we accrue some of the characteristics that we get through interaction and develop our own identity, develop our independence and identity. At this stage, I mean adolescence, they seek their own individuality and uniqueness. They want to be unique. They actually want to be more acceptable, and the acceptability, peer approval, family approval. They want to be approved. Everybody should like him, and they want to be affiliated to family, affiliated to peer group. So, and the process, when they want to affiliate with family, affiliate with the peer group, or when they want to be liked by all the members, teachers, peers, family members, in that process, they have a feelings of conflict, what to do, what not to do. Sometimes they do not like, but they have to conform to their expectational level. Suppose sometimes he doesn't like to follow, but sometimes he's bound to be followed because they are interacting with him. So at this stage, he has conflicts. So here, the differences between self and others, between self and others to whom there is interacting, like peer, teacher, or parents. These differences leads to difficulty in achieving identity and self-discovery. So here, this process is a very turbulent one because here, so all the time he is trying to feel himself something special, something unique. So here you can see one case study is there also. One person is expected to look smart. He wants to look smart. He wants to dress smart, or he wants to cut his hairstyle should be smart also. His friends want him to be very smart. His parents also have different ideas about all these. Some friends say that, but in now see, everybody wants him to be smart. And some peer friends, they say, so you should be smart. You should drink as a sign of smartness. You should be very very, I mean, pragmatic, very advanced. So now see, if uh, peer peer society or peer groups, they want him to be smart, like smart dress, smart clothes, or smart hairstyle, smart or like it's, looking smart, all these things. Along with that smartness, they want that he should drink also. Now the question is, so this looking smart, wearing smart, so smart clothes, or cutting hairstyle, all these things, something uh, acceptable. But when the peer wants him to drink also, and the question is, he may not agree. No, I cannot. Sorry. He can say, I don't want it. So now here, by differing, by not accepting them, he is trying to show his independence. He is trying to show his own identity. So here, through that, he is developing his own self identity. So there are all the differences, and there is identity conflict. In that also, he's trying to sort out his own way, how to show his own identity. So now the question during adolescence, he has a tendency to question himself, who am I? So here, the children develop the cognitive capacity to find out who am I. So always he's having the question, who am I? Because he wants to be something special, something unique. So he wants to be independent, and he has to maintain his own identity. So here, you see, in your Navodaya, they are celebrating different festivals of different religion, and also different mantras, different songs. And this feels them actually free from that religious bias. So now they feel that we are one. We accept every religion. So here the identity is that we belong to all. But he was earlier a man of one religion, but a child of one religion, doing all practices. Now in Nabodaya, when he's doing all these prayers or festivals, or during festivals like that, so now he feels that I am something special, that I don't believe any religion, I believe everybody is equal, or all religions equal. So that type of identity develops, that he develops himself, something specially. So adolescents as such try to discover unique identity. So here, in this process, psychosocial development, it is an attempt to discover an unique identity, or developing a sense of identity, which has been considered generally as the main task of adolescence. So in adolescence, the main task is to develop self-identity, or develop independence in the form of your own identity, or your unique identity. So the adolescents, they define themselves in terms of beliefs, attitudes, values, morals, etc. And these things are internal and self-developed. So they develop internally, the beliefs, attitudes like that. And this helps them to have their uniqueness, because in that way he can be having similarity to others. So his uniqueness, like the physical, cognitive, social aspects, they all allow the adolescent to construct his identity. So identity development can be perceived as an interplay of personal, psychological, and emotional development. So here, this self-identity is now an interplay of one's personal, psychological, and emotional development. And here, the identity formation begins with such interplay. There are various ways to think about the self. The self-concept and self-esteem are widely used terms to describe self also. So during adolescence, when you are having self-identity, now you are coming to self-concept and self-esteem also. And this interestingly, this self identity is sometimes some people sometimes believe that in the adolescence or in the late adolescence, the self identity is complete. No, it still continues. So the process, it is now told that this is neither beginning or nor end in this period. This means this process of forming self identity is a long process, and it also continues because of the interplay of personal, psychological, and emotional development of the adolescent. So now these two terms, self concept and self esteem, they are akin to the term self identity. And self concept, as I told you, the self concept is also coming under the self uniqueness or your self identity. And and the self identity, as I told you, emerged out of identity confusion. And the identity confusion is nothing but when mixing with different people like peer, parents, teachers, friends, all these things, then there is all identity confusion, because whether he follows them or not, there is confusion. So ultimately, from identity confusion or identity conflict, he comes to own identity. And that identity formation is now reflected through self-concept and self-esteem. What is self-concept? So self-concept is your self-awareness. It is defined as the conscious aspect or the experiential perception and evaluation of self. Adolescents, they evaluate themselves in many domains like academic, athletic, morality, physical appearance, peer acceptance, family status, and gender. In these ways, they actually evaluate themselves. Within cognitive advance, adolescents use more abstract label like I feel myself I am intelligent or I am handsome. This feeling, this feeling is your self-concept. And now you are evaluating yourself like this, like handsome, like intelligent, or like something. So this evaluation is your self-concept. So here actually you are aware of your strengths and weaknesses. And here we present, or the adolescents, they present themselves in contradictory ways also. Like they feel that some adolescents, they say, I am shy but outgoing. So now you see his self-perception, he's shy. So sees himself or herself as shy, but says, I'm shy but outgoing. Now both the terms are contradictory. So like this self-concept indicates what he feels about himself. So their feelings, attitudes, behaviors, they change with the environment. And here they actually try to describe himself that what sort of they are. For example, they can say, I'm sort of a brave girl. I'm sort of a brave boy. So now this particular idea that I'm a brave boy, that is his self-perception. So all these things are actually developing in the adolescents, and the adolescents who have low self-concept experience high rates of anxiety and depression. So if you have low self-concept, you have more anxiety and you have more depression. When the adolescent develops formal operational thinking, so here his views of the self presupposes what the self is perceived. So now you see the low self-concept is arousing high rates of anxiety, and here the possible selves represent cognitive representatives. Actually, when you are going to develop the self, so you are having your own self and an ideal self. So the self is your own perception, and the ideal self is what you perceive to be or want to become. So now when you have these two selves, the real self and the ideal self. So here in this process, you have the possible number of possible selves. So for example, one student, if you ask the student in the school, what do you want to be? Now I want to be a doctor. So now the doctor, if he wants to be a doctor, the possible self. So the teacher has to guide him, see that he is developing such practices, reading habits to be a doctor. So now the possible selves, corporate selves, one wishes to become, and the selves one wishes to avoid. So now these selves you are having, you are avoiding, and the possible self means the ideal self you want to accrue. So now the possible selves represent a cognitive representation of a successful self. A teacher could motivate the students to develop possible selves, as there is a link between aspects of self understanding and motivation. And here, the possible self ultimately makes you reach to your ideal self. So now you can see some following tips are there. Some tips are there which you can adopt, which the adolescents can adopt in the classroom to raise the positive self concept. For example, the teachers can ask them to adopt such practices, or the teachers can themselves also do that. The teachers in the classroom should appreciate the accomplishment of the adolescent in specific domains. So when the students or the adolescents they are doing something, then if the teachers are appreciating, then they are now getting the feedback. So they are more motivated to reach the ideal self or positive self. The teachers have to praise their efforts in front of others in the classroom. So praising before others so gives a boost to their actually feelings, so that the possible self or the positive self will emerge. Then the teachers will with listen with your ears and eyes when adult speaks. The teacher should carefully, patiently listen and speak. Listen to him, and also gives hints so that he is more encouraged. Then fourthly, he should provide guidance and support when the adolescent is feeling difficulty, so that he will be having more confidence himself. Fifthly, he should avoid negative comments in the feedback. Teachers should always avoid negative comments. And also lastly, the teachers should avoid comparison with others, because comparison lowers the uh, motivation. So now, through these processes, the teachers can raise the positive self-concept among the adolescents. So, and to sum up on the topic, I will say self-concept is your what you are, or the feeling in yourself that what you are exactly, or the feeling of self is your self concept, and it is actually um, giving you an idea that what you can do and cannot do also. Suppose you are having some expectation, and whether you are going to meet the expectation or not, now there is a mismatching in the self, and the steps towards expectation fulfillment is mismatching, then something is, there is a problem. So there is failure in adjustment, that increases stress only. So always you try to reach the expectation self or the ideal self, that the positive self. So therefore, the teachers, as teachers, you should always guide the students in your classroom so that they can uh, emerge, or they can go, they can proceed or they can be nearer to their expectation level, or expectation level of others, or to their ideal self. This ideal self is the expectation level of others about him. So now we come to self-esteem. So self-esteem is another term like self-concept. In self-esteem is your subjective evaluation. So now you see self-concept is what you are, self-perception. So I mean what actually you are, that is self-concept. But here in self-esteem, you are evaluating your own worth, whether you are good or bad. So that you know from the self-esteem. So self-esteem, so even when interacting with others in the home, in the school or in the peers. So in the interaction, you just estimate yourself. So here, the self-esteem is actually your self-assessment, and here you assess in relation to multiple dimensions and relationship within the context of friendships and cognitive and non-cognitive abilities. For example, adolescents with high academic self-esteem will spend more time in academic work, and they demonstrate high academic achievement. So if your self-esteem is high in academic, so you will spend more time in academic matters and also will have more academic achievement. So here, the relationship with the peers and parents exert give more impact on adolescents' views of themselves. Parents who express love and support to the children are likely to raise the self-esteem of the children. So when the parents love them, then the children, they have their self-esteem raised, because they uh, feel that they can do everything. They are competent because parents are praising, accepting. So parental feedback is critical. It affects it affects the adolescents in different ways. Sometimes, if the parents' parental feedback is not good, then it affects otherwise and adolescents in a negative way. So peer acceptance has a positive effect on self-esteem also. So sometimes the peer acceptance, it functions as a shield from distant relationship with parents. For example, suppose parents are not happy with you, the parents are not approving, appreciating. So here, so in that way, you are having a negative type of effect. At that time, if the peers are accepting you, then you are having a shield. I mean, you are protected. So the self-esteem is now determined on the feedback you are getting from parents, getting from peers, getting from teachers. So when you get positive feedback, self-esteem is raised. And here, now the question is how to improve self-esteem. So now you see, for the teachers, so you are the teachers, so you should do like this: help the students identify the strengths and challenges and take a balanced view of self. Secondly, teach assertiveness skills. I mean, he should do something competently. So, build self worth, encourage positive self talk, balance freedom with guidance, do things in a creative way. So, all these tips are there by which you can improve the self esteem among the adolescents. So, here now you see one thing: assertiveness, he must be assertive, stand up confidently. and with smiles can face others and building self-worth. So he has to establish his special values. So he has to build the self-worth, and you should encourage this student to have a positive self-talk, never to be angry. This is a positive self-talk. So balance freedom and with guidance. So he's free to tell anything. You guide him to be free, and also you guide him to do in innovative way, in creative way. No bar, no checks. There is freedom. So then only he can improve his self-esteem. Now the another term is self-identity. So regarding identity, I have already told you, but the identity is actually a form of coherent sense of self. When the self-concept and self-esteem become organized, the self-identity is actually the outcome of organized self-concept and self-esteem. So the Erickson, one psychologist, he has given a view on self-identity, and Erickson has told that identity develops across the lifespan through interplay of individual and social development. His theory indicates 5 stages through which the self evolves, and the positive outcome develops a holistic identity and acquire the capacity for self-reflection. The negative outcome may result in identity confusion. The task of identity formation occurs during adolescence. It is a continuous process. It changes within the self, and one's diverse context provide opportunities to reflect upon, shape and reshape identity. So now the changes within the self are comprising your self identity, and these changes actually are shaped and reshaped through interaction of self and the society. Now the question is, what are the identity issues among adolescents? And this self-identity have some issues, some problems. And the most common issues in adolescence include, number one, that is seeking status symbols. So here, some adolescents, they make their personality appearance in a peculiar way by wearing different clothes and styles. You have seen that some people dress in a particular way. They have their particular hairstyles because they want to establish themselves something special by that way. Using a cap or not using a cap, using the moustache in this way or that way, or using the hair style in the girls. So these are very peculiar ways. So that way they want to have their own status. That is, start seeking status symbols. Second is high risk behavior. Adolescents, they are very busy, they are fond of taking risk. And adolescents, they start drinking, smoking, and sexual activity also. And that is also mainly to get more acceptance among the peer group. So here, they start drinking because the peers say, can you drink this? Can you take wine? Can you smoke? Can you love that girl or love that boy? So all these things, drinking, smoking, sexual activity, these are risky behaviors. And in adolescence, they start it just because being encouraged by the peer, because the peer will accept it. Now you see the form of raggings are made in the colleges also. In the junior batches, students are forced to drink or forced to do some hard work or dress on dress all these things. So that is because to comply to the peer group, to be accepted by the peer group, the adolescents can do the high risk behaviors. So now you see, in the high risk, this identity issue is here because the adolescents, just to comply the peer expectation, they develop such a way of uh, doing, and the identity is also as such formed. Because identity is they are very risky boys, smart boys. Then another issue is rebellious nature. So here there is identity crisis, you know. So due to identity crisis, increased after thinking or quest for autonomy, biological maturity is there in the family, you know. The child, because of biological maturity, he wants to be autonomous. He becomes tall and also stronger. So he feels autonomous, even defies the father, who is the guardian of the parents, or defy the parents. So through this development process, the child has an identity crisis. So he want to have his self identity as an independent person, autonomous person. So he doesn't want to always abide by the wishes of others. So he may be rebellious. He may rebel, or he may be away from parents to get the peer conformity. He wants to the peer. He wants more peer confirmation, or peer conformity, or peer acceptance. He is valued more. Therefore, he can rebel out. And lastly, some adolescents, they also have the issues like hero worship. They identify with some heroes in the field of cinema, like they have this Devanand style, or Rajkumar style, or this Khan style, like that. So many styles they can imitate. They can have the style, or they can have some style like identify like sports heroes, like some sports persons. So they can identify themselves with famous heroes in the sports, in the cinema, and thereby lose hold their own identity. And here, these are the issues that the adolescents they face this, they exhibit these issues with self-identity. And here, through this, they develop their own identity. So either accepting him, following him, or being very independent, something separate, unique like that. So he starts building himself something independently. So feeling autonomous, feeling himself very much unique. That is self-identity. During the process, also gender works in the identity formation. Gender also was. So gender is your adolescent sexuality that also operates in identity formation. So now there's an example in your book, that is one girl Rita in a class while sitting in the is a very good student, but in the class while she was sitting, she's looking towards the boy sides frequently, and you must have marked in the classroom some girls they look at the boys frequently. Hello, hello, hello.
Yes, sir, we are listening your voice.
I have a problem. I don't know the mobile functioning. Sometimes she gets also out of order. So I think, are you now able to get
You
me?
are you are audible, sir.
Yes, please tell me. Yes.
Yes, sir. You are audible. We are listening you. Please
All right.
continue.
So here I was telling about the self-identity. Is it fine? I have told you about self-identity. I have told you about self-concept. I have told about self-estimate, all these things, self-esteem or self-estimation. So now I'm coming to adolescent sexuality. Is it fine? Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, right. So now the question is, in the classroom, we find the attention of the students, they shifts gender wise. Some boys may be looking at the girls, some girls looking at the boys, or sometimes some particularly specifically one boy is looking like that. So now the teacher is thinking why, but actually due to puberty in adolescence, the sex glands are developed and the sex hormone is operating, and the sex hormone induces a type of orientation that is called sexual orientation. So looking at somebody or getting pleasure at looking, that is something hormonally uh, directed or hormonally determined. So here, as you know, in the uh, school also, some activities like hand holding, kissing, petting, sexting. So they are all sexual activities, and it is very natural also. And here the question is, the sexual orientation is an enduring pattern of romantic or sexual attraction, and this attraction may be to persons of opposite gender or same gender or to both also. So among the adolescents, sexual attraction takes place basing on many factors like physical appearance, the most beautiful one, physically more beautiful is also more attended, or more loved, or like-mindedness among two individuals, or the peer influence. If the peer says she's very good or he's very good, you are also influenced. So now the sexual attraction is now governed by so many factors, and this sexual attraction generates a feeling of excitement. So you go, say, excitement, pleasure, intimacy, or the peer approval. Sometimes it is a sense of competency. For example, if you are able to love a girl or a girl is able to love a boy, then he feels something competent also, feeling of competency. So the sexual attraction and the sexual behavior arising in the adolescence is governed by so many factors, and this indicates or this involves getting closer to different persons of the same or opposite genders because of so many factors like appearance, as I discussed, appearance, like-mindedness, or like that. Generates intimacy, generates excitement, and he thus the sexuality is actually a feeling about oneself or a evaluation of self, evaluation of attitudes and behavior also. So your attitude, your behavior, self-evaluation, all these things are indicating sexuality. You evaluate somebody is more beautiful, somebody is more, more congenial, more like-minded. That is your evaluation. So the attitude is also accordingly formed, and that leads to a sexuality. Sexuality is just only an attraction. So adolescents develop sexual self-concept as a part of their identity development. As I told you earlier, the sexuality or the sexual self-concept is a part of identity development. From the viewpoint of sexual development, self-identity prepares the adolescent for intimacy in early adulthood. So because of this self-identity, so you feel yourself competent, or you feel yourself confident, and also you feel yourself more handsome, more intelligent, so that you can do something. So therefore, this also contribute to your sexual development. Sexuality expression is actually gender expression. You know, some boys sometimes develop long hairs to look feminine. Some girls also, they want to portray with short hair and short pants, short shirts, because they want to show themselves masculine. So this means they express their freedom and choices in this way. So in some cases, they reflect gender identity, because the boy going to have long hair or getting fond of sari or like that. So he is psychologically more identified with feminine qualities, and the girls the reverse also. So here, such type of gender identity develops by the likes and dislikes. Of course, some of the girls and boys, they also have their choices, like short days, like fashion trends, or like peer influence, or like rebellious behavior. For example, if you don't, if one person in the class is not liked, not appreciated by the teachers, he may come in an awkward dress. He may come with a dress like so many labels there, like I love you, I kiss you, like that. So many type of wrong labels. Because this is a rebellious behavior. And some come with new dresses as new fashion trends. Or some come with peer influence. Because friends are using, they are using also. And some come with personal choice. So thereby, the behavior is governed in such different ways. However, gender identity is common, that the girls they come in feminine ways and the boys come in masculine ways, and they develop their self identity because of their social interaction. The area of concern to parents and teachers is very much regarding adolescent sexuality. This is the stage when these adults or the adolescents, I have told you before, the adolescents are always risk loving. So the adolescent sexuality in that way also goes to a dimension which creates headache in the teachers and parents, because the boy in the school, class 10, class 9, when there are adolescents, late adolescents, they go for dating. They show physical expression of love. There have been friendships and choices which goes against the cultural norms and create worries about their behavior. And sometimes there is violence in relationships. There are several ways in which these issues could be addressed also. And it is common in schools that the students falling in love because of this adolescent sexuality effect. They also lose their study habits. They are also academically they lag behind, and the teachers they should see how to get them corrected. So in that way, the teachers should have sexuality education or sex education in the schools. Sometimes we are having a myth in the family, also with the teachers also, that they say children do not need any sexuality education. Because nobody, there is no guru in sex. Nobody teaches it. They automatically learn it through generation. Because that is also because they did not have such scope in their childhood. We also, I must say old man, I must say old man, but you people also uh, in a generation, you also did not feel that sexual education should have been given in your schools when you were students. That is a recent trend because traditionally in our families, the parents and the members, they don't feel to encourage this type of education in school because they say it is fine, they can learn by themselves. It is type of servo education, automatic education. But that's not true. So first of all, they do not feel the need. And secondly, they say also, the children are innocent. By teaching these things, you are only implanting bad ideas. You are polluting their mind. Thirdly, again they say also, by doing sex education, the adolescents will learn in a different way. Better to leave them to know it at the right age. So this type of sex education or sexuality education is not encouraged in or by parents or by teachers or by status, persons in society of repute. They don't appreciate this. But actually, on the contrary, sexuality education aims to teach children about understanding the body and mind in the context of puberty. So, the personal and interpersonal context like gender, sociocultural norm, emotional regulation, relational skills. So, all these are also taught through this sex education so that they develop a healthy attitude towards their gender, towards health and psychological well-being. So the sex education helps adolescents to take responsible choices in the context of relationship, to choose healthy habits, overcoming peer pressure, and to avoid high risk behavior. So sex education just helps in the uh, building relationship or building habits and also choosing or deciding risk behaviors. Overall, the sexuality education or sex education promotes health and well-being among the adolescents. So despite all these traditional opposing views, nowadays sexuality education is now provided in the curriculum And this actually gives lot of advantage because children know the actuality. Therefore, they have a scope to choose the right partner. They are knowing the psychological well-being and health problems through the education also. So that is ensuring good relationship formation, building. So now here, the bodily changes. So actually, adolescents sometimes they can't ignore some adults in the family. They do not give so much importance. But the bodily changes, the peer talk, the mass media, all will increase their curiosity. Even if the parents or the teachers, they become cool to their developing trends or their sexual orientation, they can automatically, because of the body changes. When the body changes in the girls or in the boys, when the body is fast changing, then automatically they are having curiosity. The body changes, their peer talk, the mass media, all increase their curiosity about sexuality. And when the responsible adults, like parents, like teachers, or like responsible adults, brothers or sisters, or responsible adults in society, they shy away. They avoid opening conversation about such issues. Then adolescents, because of the curiosity, they go to some peers who claim to, I know all. I mean, there are some peers, they say, I know everything. I am all-rounder. I know I am master sex. I know everything about sex. So now those people, those adolescents, now go to follow him. Also, they read the magazines. They read nowadays the internet is having all these exposures. They open the internet and thereby they jump to risky situations. So here, alternatively, if the parents or teachers, they are empathetic in understanding their problem, or if they are sharing their information, or if they are having a healthy conversation about sexuality, the adolescents can have a good sexual behavior. So here, when the adults, as you know, they are ready for conversation, the adolescents may not be ready for the same also. In such cases, because the adolescents, they are not a very, they are not, they are shy. They may not be frank to put their issues. Now, you see, adults are not ready. Then he goes to see the other things like video, all these things. When the adults becomes willing to guide them, then they or sometimes they don't become willing because they are shy. In that case, they are guided. They can be guided through authentic sources. These adults, parents or teachers, they can identify authentic sources for them to provide information. So in a scientific, accurate and sensible manner. So here, in that way, the parents are reluctant in giving sex education, but it's agreed that sexual information is abundantly available. Are you hearing? Sound होची. Hello, hello, hello.
सर आपकी आवाज आ रही है सर हमको
अरे जल्दी जल्दी बोल दीजिए, मैं तो इतना बार हर वाला बोल रहे, कोई नहीं बोलते हैं ना।
सर आवाज आ रही है सर आपकी?
अरे ये फंक्शन होगा ना, इसलिए मैं यहाँ चला गया। So now, the parents are reluctant to talk about sex to their children. It's agreed that sexual information is abundantly available in social media, but much of it is misinformation, and much of it is unrealistic, unsafe, unaware. So the role of the school is to provide sexual education or sexuality education to adolescents. The general opinion is that the school is providing more on hygiene, more on nutrition, but nothing about sex education. So it is essential on the part of the school to provide healthy sexuality practices, such as good interpersonal relationship with any gender, being mindful about one's body, and also health. Interaction with any gender in society to be socially in a socially appropriate ways, should be done in socially appropriate ways, and one should express his love and intimacy according to one's choice and values, but not violating the other person's choice. So sexuality education should not be narrowed down to sexual acts or to reproductive practice. So sexuality, something broad, not this sexual, that was not this act of sex. Sexuality is about the identity based on physical, psychological, social, emotional, moral, and ethical perspectives, and express oneself as a particular gender, and most importantly, who the person is. It is the help, or it can help you, or it will help you. It will help to understand what kind of choice one can make for health, for safety, for well-being, without violating the rights of other people or socio-cultural norms. So now see, sexual education gives you the advantage to have right choice, to have healthy choice, to have safe choice, and to have well-being through sexual practices. So never take sex as reproductive sex. Sex is something different, as I told you. And here, with the ambit of the choice, adolescents should be mindful of the right of the other people. When somebody wants sexual relationship, should be careful whether the other member, other partner is willing to accept you or not. So sexual practice is within the purview of permission. Both should be willing. And sometimes you should know the legal barriers also. Because even if a minor under age 18 willing for sex or any sexual relationship with a minor is a POXO act, which is a legal offense. So this has to be clarified with adolescents in the school, that these sexual practices, sexual partners should be chosen, but there should be some constraint. Sexuality cannot be as free as a thing. There is age bar. There is a legal issue. So therefore, children should be, the minors should be protected from sexual abuse, sexual harassment, and pornography, because the adolescents are all usually minor, and they should know that the sexual practices in school, even if the old, late adolescents, class 9, class 8, like that, you'll find, even if they are engaged in sexual practices, you should tell them that is something legally not acceptable due to postcard. So there are some activities in the school to identify. The school teachers, they should do something. Number one, they should identify potentially risk places and activities where sexual offences can happen. There are in schools or in the periphery or outside the school premises also. So students, they go for moving outside, but here the teachers should identify the risky places and also the activities where sexual offences can happen and take appropriate measures to protect the children. And also the teachers should also, they should not interpret sexually related issues from a single perspective or narrowing everything into good or bad behavior. Rather, the adolescents should be encouraged to see the importance of safety, importance of health, importance of well-being, social norm, moral, ethical, and legal implications of the choice. Thus, a holistic attitude will prepare them to deal with any unanticipated situation effectively. So here, how can you give such education to these students? There are different ways. One easy way is, with the onset of puberty, the girls are having a lot of changes in the body, and the boys too, and they are strangely looking at the changes. They are being very much curious, inquisitive to know, and in that case, they are advised to write their thoughts processes, to write their queries, to write their questions or anxiety in diaries. And here, the questions about oneself, the question about moodiness, worry about future, and curiosity about sex organ, they should write in the diary. Then you divide the class in two groups, and each group should read the diary pages and should discuss, so that the doubts in the mind of the students will gradually dissipate. So when the self-identity is emerging, or when the self-identity is forming, then the role of emotional competence is also very significant. The emotional competence, as you know, is how emotionally you are eligible to deal with others. And here, in some hostels, you find in a school, the students are not pulling on well. One student is complaining that you are using your mobile, you are hearing mobile in a loud sound and able to read. Or some is complaining that you are moving this fan so in a high speed and are feeling comfortable. So they are not able to adjust themselves. So this all indicates lack of emotional competence. So if somebody is going to do something, the other person is being emotionally reactive. So emotionally competent adolescents are able to express their emotions in a positive way and at the right time also. Emotional competence is the ability to express or release one's own behavior, one's inner feelings appropriate to the situation. Emotional competence lead to improved health also. It can lead to healthy relationship. It can lead to good health. So therefore, emotional competence is very much necessary for the adolescents to develop. So according to Sarni, emotional competence involves three aspects. Involves three aspects. So here, the number one is this is a group. The first one, emotional competence is a group of developed skills, such as conscientiousness, adaptability, communication, and conflict management. So here, just a minute. Just a minute. All right. Hello. 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 Hello.
Yes, sir. You are quite audible, sir.
Oh, sorry for the interference because sometimes this net problem is there also. All right, now it is revived. So this emotional competence involves three aspects. Some sound is coming. So three aspects. So number one, it is the EC or emotional competence. It's a group of developed skills like conscientiousness, like adaptability, like communication, like conflict management skill. So this is one aspect. The second aspect is emotionally competent individuals react to emotion generating environment with skills. So when there is emotion generating environment, you develop the skill how to manage it, how to remain cool in that way. And thirdly, the emotional competent or EC is the result of mature functioning of the individual. So this EC has three aspects. So first of all, it indicates your skill, your adaptability, how well you communicate, how well you manage conflicts, and secondly, so how competent you are reacting to others' emotion in the environment, and thirdly, so how mature functioning individual you are. Thus, emotional competence that is helping your identity also. If you are more competent, naturally also you are able to solve any problem. So now the question is how to develop emotional competence. So there are some strategies related to intrapersonal aspects. That is one, understand one's own emotion in terms of physiological responses and feelings and labeling them correctly. And secondly, identify the importance of both positive and negative emotions. And thirdly, understand the emotions evoked by context and lead to specific responses like adaptive or maladaptive. Fourthly, be assertive. Fifth, you should make a cognitive restructuring or change the view according to situation. Or fifth, being mindful of time, practice resilience. So here resilience is the ability to bounce back from a difficult situation and developing positive attitude. So these are all the strategies how to related or how can you just improve your emotional competence. And here the housemaster or the housemistress should know how to develop emotional competence among adolescent children. And these strategies, as I discussed now, it can help them. So the emotional competence is very necessary so that the adolescents can develop. So here actually the strategies they can help them to develop empathy. Empathy means to have the feelings and emotion of others, or you understand their feeling. That is developing empathy. That is developing effective communication skill or increase problem solving or decision making ability or practice conflict resolution skills, then practice listening, then acknowledging others' expertise. So all these strategies are related to the um, earlier other points. So that led to these strategies. So this way you can increase their emotional competence. So the strategies as I told discuss summary, I'm telling again. So you have to be empathetic so that you can be emotionally competent. So you can be communicative and you should show this. You should show the skills how to resolve conflict. You should listening practice. I mean, you should be patience. You should acknowledge others' expertise, others' skill. So these things will develop emotional competence in you. So now the strategies I have told how the house masters and or house mistress they should do to increase this emotional competence, and the emotional competence is related to these things or is manifested in these ways. So the other thing is also behavioral issues. So sometimes the adolescents have some behavioral issues also, and that is actually this issue is common as the children grow up in adolescence, late adolescence specifically. The children with the growing biological and cognitive changes, they are searching their own identity, and that's because of so many factors like certain growth spots, as the role confusion, increased pressure from peers and other social circumstances, or increased decision making problem, search for self, rational thinking, confronting personal morality and values, thinking about sexuality and marriage, want for greater independence, and questioning about the future. So all these factors are displayed during adolescence. So we can say here the characteristics of an adolescent stage. And because of this, The adolescent is thinking something independently, and now he wants to establish his autonomy over decision. With so many issues, now he thinks he should act and he should think in an autonomous ways. Or I mean, he believes in autonomy over the decision, over the emotion, and he wants to escape the parental control. He actually develops concern about others' opinion in peer group, but wants to get away from parental control. These adolescents pass through some developmental process, and in the context, they live and learn a greater influence of shaping their behavioral pattern. Some adolescents experience behavioral problems only at home or at hostel and behave properly in the class. There are adolescents who never express their emotion. They internalize their emotion. So now the issue is if the adolescent is expressing his emotion or showing his behavioral problem, then the teachers they're attending it and they can go for remedies. But those who are not expressing, they also are having problems. And the teachers, they should be very much careful. They should also study their students in the classroom who are not able to express their emotions also. Some students, they express in the form of temper tantrum, a very aggressive behavior. And the problems are very common among adolescents for their inattention. There are social behavior, running around the class or overactivity. There are some adolescents who exhibit activity in adhering rules, violating others' rights, or fail to behave in socially acceptable way. So others view the adolescents are viewed as delinquents because through these factors, through their behaviors, they're disturbing others also. The factors that contribute for such behaviors are neglect, child abuse, brain damage, school failure, or traumatic life experiences. So these factors they make such erratic behavior. And here, if the teacher is very concerned in changing his behavior, then the child can build positive self-concept by building a good rapport with this boy, erring person, erring adolescent. He can feel being accepted. The feeling of being accepted can also change him, who can lead to positive self-concept. The teacher can participate him in teaching learning process and to try to meet his emotional needs also in the classroom. The teacher can, through his empathetic attitude, understand his behavior properly. Some adolescents occasionally feel anger also, anger, sad, unhappy, and they show mood tantrums or temper tantrums. They have unhappy mood. As a teacher, the first step you have to take or identify the factors that contribute to their emotional disorder. Do the origin of the adolescent problem, do the origin of the problem is family oriented or a health oriented or peer oriented, that the teacher should know. Then only he can try to change the behavior. And here, some students, they are having a lack of concentration. So the teacher should also look at that. The students should feel comfortable. Sometimes the students are having some problems in fantasizing relationship with other boys or girls, and the teacher should convince them that fantasy is not a faulty behavior, but excessive fantasy hinders their routine habits. So they can dream, and the dreams should convert to positive thoughts. So fantasy is common, but they should not fantasize unduly or excessively, which can hinder their academic activities. That teachers can advise them. So there are also other adolescent problems, and the adolescent problems are so many, like substance use, like violence, like suicide, like bullying. So all these unhealthy practice. And the here the report the teachers, they actually should see that. So bullying makes them a great I mean they get fear, they makes a great fear in them. The teachers should convince the students, the adolescents, that sending negative commands or comments about others, the type of bullying, they should know, the students should know. They should not make any negative comment to others. The teacher can be a part of this Facebook and other social media, so that can toss the children in the class and guide them in proper ways. They can encourage the child to report about bullying and make children in the class to frame rules to prevent bullying. Sometimes children or some adolescents, even they are bullied or even they are behaved improperly, they don't want to say, and these teachers should empathetically get the facts released from them, should ask them to report. So the bullying behavior should be stopped also. So the bullying behavior in the school, not only in the school classroom, also in toilets, canteens, playgrounds, also there. The children who are victim of bullying, they are victim by the classmates, and the teachers should be allowed to any change in child's behavior, so that he can be certain about the victim's bullying. Because the bullying is manifested in 4 ways, like school phobia, number one. Secondly, like dropping out from the school. Thirdly, like low achievement. And fourthly, truancy. Truancy is absenteeism like. So these things are observed when they are bullying victims. The teacher, when finds a student is having this thing, like school phobia, dropping out, low achievement, or truancy, then you can see how the bullying is prevented. And substance abuse is common also. You all know that adolescent is a risky period, a risk-taking period, risk-taking behavior. So the students or the adolescents, they go for using drugs. They are smoking, taking, consuming drugs just because they feel that when they are bored or fatigued, they want to take it. But actually, they take it because of the pure effects. So by taking the drug, they develop drug dependence. which leads to personal and social disorganization. Alcohol is also another substance used in adolescence. So alcohol related to parent or peer models, because by taking alcohol one feels that he's a big one. So here, which is from the peers, they say somebody to another classmate in adolescence, you are a mama's boy, or you are a like that. You are quite you don't know anything. You are a mama's boy like that. So the child feels inferior. Child lies to follow them. It drinks. It smokes. Not to show that he is also one among them equal. So that has to be checked by teachers. So the teachers can intervene in substance abuse problems. They should understand the nature of substance use behavior and also nature of the substance frequently used, the triggers for use, the after benefits of use, the knowledge of relative risks and benefits, and of the motivation to change. So all these things to be told to the adolescents. They should understand the irrational thoughts and beliefs about substance also. So here the adolescents should know all the negative things about this substance abuse. Sometimes there is self-harm behavior or suicide, and suicide is a stage of frustration and anger towards self. It may trigger self-injuries and self-harm. So some people are vulnerable for self-harm behavior also. So here, the persons having these attributes like mental health issues, especially depression, or the persons have either impulsive in nature, or the persons having problems in regulating negative emotion, on the persons having difficult temperament like impulsivity or inability to take an alternative perspective, or trauma, abuse, and emotional neglect, or lack of social support, lack of hope, availability and access to means, or family history of suicide attempts, or repeated failure in academic field, or immunity and critical environment. So all these factors that forces them to commit suicide. And here the teacher should see how to prevent this. While going for suicide, the students, the adolescents, they also make some indications like depression, like not caring themselves, like not eating, not talking to anybody, staying isolated. So these are all indicating that they are going to commit something. The teachers should now take steps. Number one, they should engage in private talk. Ask them to listen with the teacher should listen with sympathy, with empathy. So sympathy, empathy is a different term. Sympathy an act of kindness, but empathy is a feeling of his feeling. The teacher should engage in private talk and listen with empathy. And secondly, teachers should identify the act, the safety of the adolescent. So here, we should identify the threat with the safety. And thirdly, should prepare a safety plan like monitoring, social support, or sensitizing environment. So now see, Here you see preparing a safety plan. That's very important. Monitoring. Should time to time discussing, taking information from him, giving social support, and sensitizing environment means not keeping any instrument like rope or knife. The rope, knife, or poison like that. That should not be kept in the environment because that can be used in self-killing. And fourth, they should be connected to family. And lastly, they should be also consulted with mental health professionals. In adolescence, violence is common also. And the violence is especially in the form of physical attack. It is a form of physical attack, temper tantrum, fighting, gang attack, fire setting, vandalism, and destruction of school property. And this is in intense form. Actually, you see this temper tantrum is an intense form, manifesting crying also, very aggressive behavior. So the violence is common in some adolescents, and the causes are very significant. Maybe due to early usage of drug, maybe use of drug and alcohol, or maybe formerly victim of sexual abuse, or easy access to weapons, or association with the adolescent gang, or exposure to violence in social media. So all these factors lead to act of violence in the adolescents, and the teachers have significant role. They should constantly interact with the students to reduce the severity of problem and channelize the energy of the adolescents in productive way, build a relationship of mutual trust. Instead of violence prevention, the confidential training should be given. And there's another problem is unhealthy romantic relationship. And you know, the boys and girls, they involve in romantic relationship. The adolescents value the closeness, intimacy, and support from their peer relationship. On the other hand, unhealthy romantic relationship pose several risks, such as dating abuse, physical abuse, teenage pregnancy, and fighting among adolescents. There is the role of teachers and parents in convincing adolescents about a healthy relationship. They have to provide emotional support to the adolescent and make them understand that the age is not proper to get married. So in that case of a romantic relationship, when the child is going astray, then the teachers should try to divert the attention of the adolescent to creative work and hobbies so that the focus can be changed. There is also adolescent delinquency. Delinquency is a social legal category referred to conduct that doesn't meet the legal or moral standard of society. And the adolescents' identities are shaped by various childhood experiences, present ecological influence, and their future. When the adolescents are not able to satisfy the demands placed on them, they may choose a negative identity. So see, if more expectation is there, that may be negatively expressed as negative identity. And these adolescents may turn to the image of delinquents among peers. We call them juvenile delinquents. They exhibit destructive behavior or become troublesome to others in the class also. So when it continues, we term them as conduct disorder. They lead to illegal acts of juveniles. We call them adolescent juveniles in society. The school, so the causes can be identified as genetic and biological factors, or it can be personality characteristics, or it can be socio-economic environment also. The school can start alternative program to promote positive activity and enforce the non-violent ideas. Lastly, the micro skills in handling psychological problems. So the micro skills in the adolescence are explained in observation, active listening, providing feedback, disclosure skills, and refusal skills. And the micro skills are the skills used by the teachers. The micro skills are the skills how to handle the psychosocial problems. And the teachers, by using the micro skills, first of all, they should make observation, then active listening, means listening empathetically, providing feedback, and disclosure skill. When somebody is going to do something, they can disclose themselves. They can say their own personal experience and encourage him to rebuild himself. And the refusal skill also. So these are micro skills the students should use to change the behavior of the adolescent. And here we can go for active listening also. And active listening here, listening with in empathetic ways. It is a stage where you join empathetically with the adolescents. It includes nonverbal responses, encourages repression of contents, feelings, matching adolescent language. So in the active listening, you should try to see eye to eye, or there will be eye contact. You should be nodding your head and using responses while talking like, okay, really, all right, yes, like this. Tell me more. I also agree with your view. I understand. Go on, I hear, like this. Those comments they have to make so that the adolescent can feel that you are actually listening is the problem. Also, the teacher should provide feedback. As I told you, this teacher should give the response, like supporting responses. About disclosure skills, I told he builds confidence in the adolescent by telling his own experience also. In refusal skills, he can use punish or scolding. Actually, in refusal skills, you see, it's a very risk-taking behavior of adolescents. So punishing or scolding, he use all the time, but it's not very much to count. It doesn't have an effect, much effect. So punishing and scolding to these adolescents doesn't pay much, will not pay much. So essential to teach them as refusal skills while confronting peer pressure in involving risk activities. For example, drinking is one of the pressures from adolescents. How can he use a refusal skill to resist peer pressure? You should know. You should tell them all the bad effects. Thus, refusal skills are always expressed through an hesitation not to do something in spite of pressure from others. So, teaching these skills who will help the students to have good good social behavior also. So now I complete that chapter. I come to the next chapter, the concept of moral behaviors and values in adolescence. So now development of moral concepts and moral behavior is known as moral development. You can find some students in the classroom, they are reading well, but not helping others, not sharing, not listening to your instruction also. They may be bullying or they may be showing their ego. There is another student not reading very well, but very sharing. So you say that is the difference in moral values. The moral value is indicating your manners. Moral term comes from the word mores. Mores means manners, means norm or propriety. The moral value is developed from the parental appraisal from home. The moral concepts developed through reward and punishment. And the moral concepts are developing through the interplay of action and thought. You know this from your family. We're talking about holistic education, the child. In the primary years, the parents and family influence cognitive, social, emotional, moral development in a significant way. Here, there's a breaking points with the family, breaking points of joint family. Both parents working, intrusion of social media, which breaks the basic fabric of family. That also affects your moral behavior. And here, though behavior is influenced by genetics, executive forms recognized and developed in environmental interaction. So family structure, family environment contributes a lot to our moral development. So here the moral values or moral values or moral development, moral value development is consistent with your good family atmosphere. Piaget, Jean Piaget, he has given views like moral development in two main ways. One heteronomous morality, other autonomous morality. Within 5 to 9 years age, morality forced from outside, that means from family, what is good, bad, or partly from school also, and the child accept these rules given by authority. That is called heteronomous morality. But there is autonomous morality, the second stage, which is beyond 10 years, 10 years and above. Here, he believes in self-governing, decides what is wrong and right, and he looks at the practicability. So now see, in heteronomous morality, earlier 5 to 9 years age, 5 to 9, they thought that parents, teachers, they're like gods, whatever they say, that's all. But now, after 10 years, they believe they should not be always accepted. Maybe they are wrong also. So therefore, morality takes a new shape at this age. Sometimes this morality also develops like a new tone. As you say something, suppose the parents say that always tell the truth. Teachers said always tell the truth. You say teaching or telling, speaking truth is divine. But sometimes when he grows up, he feels that saying truth always not necessary. हिंदी में ऐसा है कि किसी के अच्छे के लिए अगर झूठ बोला तो ये झूठ झूठ नहीं. So now he believes that if some lies are told for some benefit, there is no lie. So here the moral views for developing through reward and punishment. There are several factors which are which are responsible for moral development. The child's cognitive development, the winning egocentrism, the increasing importance of the peer group, all these contribute. For the older children's moral belief, the reference group is the other children, which means that conflicts or argument between counterparts need to be negotiated and compromised. So when he gets older, so he changes his strategy. Kohlsberg, another psychologist, he made a theory of moral development. According to Kohlsberg, so he told the moral development in two stages: pre-conceived morality level and post-conceived morality level. So in pre-conceived morality level, he told obedience and punishment orientation. That is beginning level. You are accepting what is good or bad, what the parent says because of punishment, otherwise you will get punishment. So you accept it. So you are obedient. You have fear of punishment. The next is individual and exchange. So you think of yourself and others also. And third stage, you not only yourself and others, you also think of society and environment. And the fourth stage, you think of society and environment and the world at large. So like this, the morality develops at different stages. In post-conventional morality stage, the social contract and individual right is there. The rules, the codes, they differ from culture to culture, and you accept it. You respect the authority only who treats all equally. And the next stage is universal principle, where the ethics and conscience operates. You hear everything. You hear what is social, religious, cultural, or what is good or bad, but always you try to show your ethic, your conscience, the last stage. That means you feel that what is good, what my conscience permits, I will do. That is moral. So factors affecting moral development is family, number one, as I told you earlier. Your family teaches all morality, whether good or bad. Then the school, the teachers say also. And the peer groups, friends also, they contribute. The society and culture, the social environment, the culture also indicates what is good and bad. The media influence also, the news, the video, exposure to violence and activity, that also affect your moral development. The immoral decisions, the aggression, that kind of adult lives. So media influences. From media, they may learn positive aspects. They also mostly they learn these negative aspects by looking at the violent scenes. So media also influence this moral development and the age also. So in the beginning age, as I told you, 5 to 9, in this age, they are tolerant, having unmatching ideas. They have unconditional obedience to parents. But gradually with age, they defy their authority. He moves from unconditional obedience of his parents to be approved by his peers or to be governed by the own conscience. Gender also contribute to moral development. The girls are very guilt oriented. They learn despite the gender. social phenomenon, biological difference between male and female plays important role in moral development. The boys and girls, they morally different, develop in different ways. The girls, they are having more sense of guilt and shame. The girls are taught to be less critical of moral values set by elders. The girls are usually in the families, you will find the same family, boys and girls, the brother and sister. The sister is more obedient, or the brother is defying. The daughter is having the teachings to be under control. But the boys are more aggressive. They set their own rule. And moral behavior just differs from girls to boys. So here, the question is how to strengthen the moral value in the adolescence. The moral value in the adolescence can be strengthened through education. The classroom environment teachers, they can increase or decrease the performance, interest and curiosity of students. So education can give them, the moral values can be more upgraded. Our moral values can be more integrated through the informations given by teachers. They are just and caring classroom can help them to pick up a role model whom they can follow. The educators can and need to build social and cultural context in which children can be nurtured to be morally matured individuals. The educators should ensure to create psychological safe school or safe school climate and policies to contribute to moral growth and future of generation. The moral values can be defined as standards or principles that help person to choose between right and wrong or good or bad, or to live congruently, peacefully and responsibly. This moral development starts as early as infancy, and adults can help to build the good moral character and a pleasing personality by including following moral values. Number one, be the role model. So, by being the role model, the moral value can be formed. Children learn better by observing people and their surroundings. Be a good role model and set an example by following virtues of being honest, humble, responsible, compassionate. So saying not important. If you say be good, don't tell lies, or be very helping, doesn't work. Better if they observe somebody helping, if they observe. So observing is more durable, more effective. Secondly, acknowledge and appreciate good behavior. Thirdly, share and discuss moral experiences. You have a lot of experiences in moral and you discuss it. Fourthly, make them practice or make them practice learning. Practice makes a man perfect. Is old age, so the importance of practice. This old adage indicates the more you practice, the more you engage the skill, values, or the neural connections. So children should put these values with others in their life. and put these in practical use. For example, decide a day of being honest. Let them practice being truthful. As teachers, you should follow like this. Decide a day of being honest. Decide a day that all should be very truthful. Another day, decide to be kind or present. Let them help in teaching the younger classes than theirs. By this practice, the value of empathy also will be developed. So them to be humble by talking politely. So this can generate in a very positive way. This can generate ideas from students to practice values. Next, have clear and effective communication. So you try to communicate in a better way your feelings, qualities openly. Never ridicule or never judge somebody. Communicate moral values in an easy and comprehensive manner and language so that they can pick up quickly. Next, make them think of the wise usage of media. So media is giving so much information which is negative also. So they should be advised to use wise usage of media. So only the technology of media should be selected, which is positive. Next, build on empathy. Becoming empathetic is the first step to develop values. So prompt your students to think about how others are feeling. Always tell them, you think about others, then naturally they can change themselves. Build an empathy. So last, I'm going to tell you some important moral values. Some important moral values are: number one, empathy. I have told about empathy. So feeling of others' feeling is empathy. So that like putting yourself into someone else's shoes is empathy. So lack of empathetic people is creating all social problems and evils. So to raise an empathetic child must be empathetic. So learn empathy. So compassion, be compassionate. So compassionate means help the individual to feel love and care towards others. Then gratitude, so learn gratitude. So returning gratitude or thanking persons, being thankful can make him happy also. Make him happy and contented. It will be more productive. So ask him to be learning gratitude. So he should be honest also. Honesty is a very important part. If the daughter is not honest, the person dies. So the value of honesty is very important. And this child should learn what honesty is. Honesty means true to your profession, to your words, true to your work. That is honesty. And teach the child to be honest. You teach also cooperation. The art of cooperation is extending help to others. The child learn to help others for a common goal. Helping others to reach a common goal. That is working cooperatively or collaboratively or to have a we feeling is to be developed. You should always use E, not me. It helps in creating a sense of belonging. The next, respect also. The children should learn to respect others. First of all, he should respect himself. Respect self. Love himself. You respect yourself. You respect your appreciate your body. You do exercise. You sleep. You rest well. You become mindful. You take good food to your stomach. So love yourself. Respect yourself. Then also respect others, respect the others, you respect the age, respect the caste, respect the creed, respect the religion, all these things. Respect others' thought, respect others' belief, talk politely. Then the next point is responsibility. Children love to initiate their favorite teacher. The children love to imitate. So now the teachers are their role model. So children, they try to imitate, they love to imitate. The best way to make child responsible is to set an example yourself, assigning them age appropriate responsibilities and appreciate and praise when they complete the assignments. That is responsibility building. Also equality, the vital component, that is justice. So here you treat everybody equal in terms of rights, opportunities, and status. Then justice. Justice means so stand against unfair and unjust behavior. So you know what is right and wrong. So always try to go in the right path. So example justice in school should be installed also. For instance, sitting on the children's table and having a meal and not a separate table for teachers. That's something justice. So you should see that what is right is being followed, what is wrong is not followed, not acceptable. Also courage, you build courage, you build the steadiness in the students to stand up, to say what is right and wrong, to stand up for right things. So they must show courage, they must display courage, must complain when there is a city. Something wrong happening, they should complain, they should stand, they should react. Then acceptance, then they should accept also. They should learn how to accept self and others. Somebody doing something, they should be accepted. They should have presence also. Always the adolescent should be taught to be present. It is a very important skill to achieve desired goals in life. Then perseverance. Perseverance is the key to achieve success. Perseverance means persistent effort. So unless they are persistent in their effort, they can achieve. So when you are doing something, don't give up. There should be the word of encouragement for the child to be perseverant. Instead of scolding, motivate them. To continue. Teaching perseverance is about making the child to learn a never say die attitude. Inculcate in daily life. For instance, the child gets poor grade. Then instead of scolding the child, motivate them to find a reason for not scoring well and keep working until they attain the best of the capability. The next point is self-control. The self-control or self-regulation plays an important role in helping children control their thoughts, words, and actions. It makes children to act patiently and not to act impulsively and avoid reacting in anger. For example, the next time you feel angry or impatient about an incident, control your emotions and act calmly. You set the right example of self-control in child. The moral values shape children's ideas, beliefs, and attitudes and help them develop into morally strong and undeterred individuals. These are considered the building blocks of the individual's personality. We adults have to put our time and effort to build child's moral development. Moral values are linked to essential human emotions and experiences that encourages and guides all into right direction. Thus, this way we can develop the moral behaviors and values in the adolescents. So now I complete this chapter. Are you all hearing? Are you all hearing? It's time
Yes,
already.
sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely.
I'm sorry, I became very speedy actually to complete the courses. There are other two blocks also to be taught in other two classes. Very, I mean, the load is very high also. I have to make it concise, very brief also. Therefore, I had to yesterday and today, both the days, only one book covering. Therefore, I became very speedy. In the process, you may be having any problem also, any doubt. Anything you will ask. So, Ati Krishna, you are always the first person to attend the class. Yesterday you came first, today also you came first.
Sir,
So
thank
that's
you,
good.
sir. Thank you, sir. I am having interest, sir.
That indicates you are so time bound, so punctual,
Thank
which
you,
is a
sir.
सर एक
prime
Thank you.
रिक्वेस्ट
requirement of
था
the teacher.
सर सर एक रिक्वेस्ट था सर
Yes.
सर यदि ये बाइलिंगुअल होता तो और ज्यादा अच्छा होता सर
क्या क्या?
बाइलिंगुअल होता जैसे आप जो बोल रहे हैं सर वो हिंदी और इंग्लिश में बीच बीच में
मैं तो
हिंदी का
मैं
भी
तो मैं
प्रयोग
तो
करें
इंग्लिश
तो
मैं तो इंग्लिश में बोल रहा हूँ.
नहीं सर हिंदी भी चाहिए हिंदी भी आप बोलते तो ज्यादा इफेक्टिव होता वो सर
अच्छा हिंदी थोड़ा
हाँ
याद जब मैं बोल रहा हूँ इंग्लिश में तब आप थोड़ा याद दिला दीजिए कि बहुत सारा हिंदी में बोलिए.
हाँ तो और
So
भी ज्यादा अच्छा होता
the book is given हमको जो दिया हुआ है ना वो इंग्लिश में.
सर हाँ
सो हम तो पढ़ते हैं इंग्लिश में, इसलिए मैं सोचा कि इंग्लिश चलेगा.
हाँ तो बीच बीच में हिंदी का भी
कब के बाद बोलेंगे तो हिंदी में बोलेंगे तो
सर
बोलेंगे हम.
बाइलिंगुअल में बोलने से ज्यादा अच्छे से समझ में आता है सर.
ज्यादा अच्छे से समझ में आता और
बाइलिंगुअल में ज्यादा अच्छे से समझ में आता है.
हाँ बाइलिंगुअल होता भले ही है ना तो ज्यादा अच्छा होता
ठीक है, तो पहले तो बोल देना चाहते हैं ना. ठीक है, हम बोल लेंगे बाइलिंगुअल बोलेंगे. लेकिन वन थिंग, स्पीकिंग बाइलिंगुअल समटाइम्स मे बी डिलेड आल्सो, कि टू कंप्लीट द कोर्स मे बी डिलेड. एनीवे
नहीं बाइलिंगुअल हाँ
anyway, so I'll try to speak in English and Hindi, right? So the next
यस
class
सर
will
यस
be done on 29th probably, next class.
सर
So I will try to speak in Hindi and English both, right?
ओके सर थैंक यू सर थैंक यू
I think one thing is that you are all experienced teachers. So I think only to clarify the concepts, I have to.
यस सर यस
So there are some points which needs clarification. So clarity should be there. Therefore, I should emphasize on points other. So next class I will tell the points both bilingually. I mean हिंदी में और इंग्लिश में बोलूँगा.
यस सर यस समटाइम्स इन हिंदी समटाइम्स इन इंग्लिश
आप लोग कभी कभी भी पूछ दीजिए हिंदी में, तब हिंदी में भी वो आंसर दे दूंगा मैं.
बिल्कुल सर बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बिल्कुल
हाँ ठीक है सर. ओके ओके थैंक यू सर.
ओके सर थैंक यू सर बहुत नाइस
अरे
क्लास
भाई if anybody has any question not able to ask or any clarification, he can ask me over phone also. My phone number you can note down also. Or you can, if you like, you can communicate over my phone.
सर
So I'm giving my phone number 98610
986.
98610 32210 32210, right? 98610 This is my WhatsApp number also. If anybody send a message in WhatsApp, this number, then I can confirm. I can give my card, photo of my visiting card. So that
98610
10
ठीक है सर
10.
98610
Right.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Dr. S. Mahapatra.
Yes, sir.
Dr. S. Mahapatra. S means Sadasiv Mahapatra.
हाँ.
Right? So,
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So, any doubt, you can communicate. So, I am basically a counselor. Right?
Sir.
sir.
So, counseling practice I do, counseling practice. I am professor of psychology. And professionally, I am a psychologist. So, I will we'll discuss in the last class. After the class is over, we can discuss many things. Right? Let the courses be covered. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Very, very much thankful because all of you patiently hearing. So that's a great thing. I'm really happy that somebody is listening to me.
सर कल क्लास रहेगा नहीं रहेगा?
कल तो नहीं, कल मैं नहीं, कल आई डोंट नो, मेरी तरफ से क्लास नहीं, मुझको नहीं दिया हुआ है, मुझको दिया हुआ है 29-30 और 2 पीरियड 29-30 में, राइट?
राइट सर।
आप भी किसका जरूरत है तो बात कर सकेंगे मेरे फोन में, क्लास के बारे में, क्लास होगा और नहीं होगा, राइट?
सर ओके सर, थैंक यू।
Okay. In the next class, I will take the names of everybody. It is better for me to interact in a better way by knowing the names. I will take in the next class. Okay, thank you.